Hi, welcome back to iHeartRadio. My name is Emilio Quiroz, and I'm really excited for having in this moment, in this interview, Mr. PROMISELAND. How are you, brother?
Uh, bueno.
I
Numero uno. Cheeto.
love it. I love it.
Super Cheeto. I'm good, man. Thanks
Yeah.
for having me.
No, thank you for having us and spending a little of your time with us. How are you?
Great, man. Great. Just here in New York, running around. I've had shows on last week and recording sessions, and it's always
Yes.
busy. Keeping busy, man.
Yes, that's cool. I was researching about you, and of course, I was really excited of what you've done here in Mexico, right? This live session with a lot of guests, special guests, and I was wondering why did you came to Mexico and try to have this good time with a lot of other musicians in Mexico? Because I mean, New York City is like this. City where all countries and all cultures coincide, right? So why Mexico? Why all these cultures? Why everything?
Yeah, well, first of all, yo soy australiano, pero yo
Yes.
vivo in Nueva York for the last
Yes.
over a decade. And But also, even though I'm based here in New York City, I have been traveling to Mexico City since 2015 was my first time. I
Okay.
think in 2015, I played at a festival called Normal,
Okay.
and I got up on the stage and I played, and that was like actually one of the first Promised Land shows that I ever
Wow.
had. Well, I sort of was doing Promised Land on the side, sort of making music. But at
Yeah.
Normal Festival, I jumped up and I did a set, and the crowd was going crazy. And in that moment, I was like, okay, I have to go
Yeah.
back to New York and do this project, Promised Land. So it was
Yeah.
Mexico that actually got like made me. Oh, sorry, my phone. Being in Mexico was
Yeah.
why I did what got me to start the project properly.
Wow, that's
And
great. I didn't knew that. I didn't.
yeah,
What do you
so
think about the Mexican crowd?
the Mexican crowd's amazing. And so then I started coming back and forth to
Okay.
Mexico to do shows. And then in 2017, I signed with Cult Records, Julian
Mhm.
Casablancas' record label.
Yes.
And that year is when I met my friends Ray Pila, who also put out a record on Cult Records. And so
Yes.
we toured all around South America, and South America is my favorite place in the world to tour. The crowds are amazing, better than the States. The States is fun, but
Well, I feel.
nothing beats Latin audiences, and especially my favorite being Mexico. And so over the years, coming back and forth, I started collabing and building a network and always coming out and playing shows with Ray Peeler in Mexico City. We did shows in February at
Yeah.
the BB Stadium
Yes.
this year, and then I went around a couple of different cities, Guadalajara, played shows, and it's just
Okay.
always the best. I did some DJ sets. I played at Soho House DJing. Um, and then just over the years being in Mexico, I've met some of the most amazing musicians, like
Mhm.
Pablo Cantu, Jay De La Cueva, who
Yeah.
I have another project called Mazmorra Brillante
Yes.
with a Mexican singer, Daniela Valdez, and in I think like during the pandemic, we collaborated with Jay De La Cueva and had him record guitar and some like vocals on tracks. I pressed a record, and he came to New York. We shot music videos here, and we
Wow.
became really good friends. I would go over to Jay's house. He'd play piano. We'd have good
Well,
conversations about music, and that was a big inspiration for me. So the Mexican culture and music, I take a lot of influence from Mexico City specifically. I just think that the scene there is way more. Uh, I don't know. Like New York is an amazing city, and there's awesome artists here, but Mexico City has this really cool sort of like punk feeling.
yeah,
It's
of
like
course.
it's like less rules or something. It's just very very cool. So yeah, that's
Yes.
how my so
I
now
think
Mexico is like my home.
I think punk resonates really strong and loud with all the Latin America.
Yeah,
And in here in Mexico, of course, this energy, this like rebelty of punk music It also we share a lot of your thoughts. And I was listening to your music, and I realized it blends punk and electronic and like poetry. And I was really falling in love with your songs. And but I was wondering, how would you describe Promised Land's sound yourself?
The sound. I'm still trying to figure out what the sound is, man.
Yes.
It's tough because, like, yeah, the live show is a lot more raucous and sort of aggressivo,
Mhm.
like party, and so those songs are a lot more like industrial and then some of the like stuff that I don't play live, which is what I, the reason why I did consultation in the live session is because I
Yeah.
don't play that song live because it is slow and it's poetic and it's a little bit
Yeah.
more of a, so it's hard because there's sort of different worlds of Promised Land and trying to explore them all.
Yeah.
But some of the songs, just specifically, like when I did Noche de Primavera this year, it was in like the centro of Mexico City, and so
Yes.
because it was supporting Silverio and like some other electronic artists, I just did full electronic, industrial, like energy, chaos,
Yeah.
chaotic for jumping around, more of a
Yeah. Yeah.
party sort of situation. So then I was like, well, I need to play some of these the more mellow songs, and that's where they exist in the way where I can collaborate with other cool musicians like Rosca from Ray Pila. Like he learned, he played the guitar in that live session, and
Okay.
having drums, and yeah. So it's still figuring out what the sound is.
Yeah, it's weird, but I love it. I mean, I really enjoyed the process of listening and trying to discover what it was about, and I really like it. And that leads me to my next question, which is how would you describe your relationship with anarchy and rebelty?
um my relationship to that is that exactly the fact that you can't figure out this, that you're trying to figure out the sound, is that like I don't put myself into like a bucket of rules, like
Okay.
so I sort of write for how I feel. And so in that way it is like anarchy because I'm just like I don't care, sometimes people are like, oh, you should write more like this or write more like this, and I'm like, maybe I just want to write something that's really slow and sad and maybe onto my
Yeah.
piano, and it's like I think about the lyrics first, and then the kind of song forms, and sometimes it's something super punk and trashy and whatever. I just did a show last week here at Club 101 in New York, and
Okay.
I had the full band, guitar, drums, and we just like let's just play the fucking trashy punk shit and push people around. And so I don't know, like for me, like the show is like a ritual. It's very like
Yeah.
it's like a ritual, and so it's chaotic sometimes, and it's an opportunity for people to come and just like have fun and just be as whatever they want. And there's
Yeah.
no rules, man.
Yeah, I love that idea, and also this comment that you were saying about don't following like the rules. Like I'm not gonna make the same kind of music always, and I think that reflects on your career with all these projects, like at the same time, but different sounds, like looking for different ideas. Which is your creative process? I'm really interested in that.
Yeah. uh I think like uh yeah, I don't know, like yeah, not putting it myself into a bucket. Like there's some songs I have, like Boys Noise did a remix of my main song Take Down the House, which is on like my record on Cult Records. I think just going back to that sort of sound, like signing with Julian and Julian like helping produce my record,
Yeah.
like I used to scream a lot, right? And I was screaming a lot for all my demos. And when I gave Julian Casablancas like my demos, he listened to them, and then he helped me explore more ideas. Like he's like, oh, you should. He
Okay.
came up with some. He helped me with some melodies for songs. So I had some songs where it was all screaming, and he's like, you should. He would like make a melody on guitar, and he's like, you should try this and sing. Especially on bad days. Bad days, like a song on the Sad Happy album. Like Julian came up with the chorus, but with the melody, and he's like, "You should try singing." And I was like, "Oh, I'm scared to sing." And he's like, "But you're a singer. You're
Okay.
already a singer. Like we collaborate." And then I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. Like like I got rid of any kind of insecurities. And
Mhm.
because I was with this most amazing like person or who I look
Of
up
course,
to, who writes some of the most great, he's written some of the greatest songs like
yeah, yeah,
ever
yeah, yeah.
over the last like
A lot
couple
of
of
pressure, right?
decades.
Yeah.
And like especially like touring with the Voids and seeing that his other band, the Voids, are just so like experimental in their process of writing. It's
Okay.
that doesn't matter. It's just what feels natural. And sometimes it's just writing lyrics. Sometimes it's just having drum beats and then just like
Okay.
making chants over it. Sometimes it's sitting at the piano. Like it really is. It comes from anywhere, and also collaboration is super important. So, yeah, I don't know, man. It just,
Okay.
I think having that freedom, you're less worried about. Oh, I'm trying to put it into a specific sound or
Yeah.
an outcome, and just like making sure that you're the most happy with it, and then everything else will fall into place. You know.
That's cool. That's cool. I love that idea. And I was also wondering about your this like mentorship, between Julian and yourself, and which other figures around you consider like a mentorship for your career.
Um, Oh man, there's so many amazing musicians in New
Yeah.
York that I get to play with that I'm fortunate to have in my band.
Wow.
One musician is an Australian called Jai Gonzalez. We've been
Okay.
making music in New York for the last 10 years. Um, things that made it to the album, things that made it to our other project together, Mazmora Brillante. I work with a guy called Johnny Justin, who's another Australian musician. We just released a track earlier this year called Only Broken. Um, an amazing musician from Australia that we've been collaborating with for almost 20 years. Um, Julian is, been a massive part of my life and
Okay.
career, but also his band, both bands, and especially the Voids, had some like, amazing musicians in those bands that like do all these little other side projects that you get to discover when you're like touring with them,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
Amir, the guitarist, or Beardo, who's the other guitarist of the Voids, like his side rap project. And when you're touring with these guys, you sort of and same Ray Peeler as well. We met on tour, and then we get to know each other, and then I listen to their music, and them bringing me along on tour. It's like I look up to them a lot for giving me an opportunity in Mexico, especially. And then
Okay.
same like meeting Jay De La Cueva. He's also an
Yeah.
incredible person who like we've had some amazing conversations and sat at a piano and just like chatted about
Yeah. He's like
music
a
and what
like
we
a
like,
Mexican idol. Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah, but I didn't know this when I met. It's funny, and then when like last year I played uh with the Molotov guys. We did a festival
Oh,
together. It was the Treasure Club Festival,
wow. That's
and
cool.
Mikey from the guy, he like came up to me afterwards and was like, we took a
Yeah.
photo together, and then I was
Wow.
like, oh, you're the guy from one of the coolest, craziest,
Yeah.
anarchy punk bands
Yeah.
from
Anarchy.
back in the day, Molotov. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
we started talking, and he was like, I love what you do, and I love what I look.
Wow.
People
That's
are
cool.
always
Yeah.
showing me Molotov. Actually, in 2015, I saw Molotov
Wow.
at a big festival,
Okay.
and I
In
was like, who
Mexico.
is this? I've never heard of this before. And they were like so crazy and wild. And then,
Okay.
2024, they're at my show at, Mexico City.
Wow.
So
That's great. Yeah.
it's cool, man. It's like a natural, like, progression that feels, it feels
Yeah.
right. So, yeah.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to watch the live session you recorded in
Uh-huh.
Mexico.
Yep.
I love it. So
Yep.
I was wondering, how much do you get involved into the visuals? And because I mean, I can see through your music that you're like a multidisciplinary artist.
You
So
got it.
I was wondering how much did you get involved into the visuals, the performance, the music? How did you connect that these three elements in your work?
Yeah. So, when I make music, I always think visually about
Okay.
I'm I have a
Wow.
strong kind of vision about how it should be visually. So like I'm very like I'm very close with the music video side of things.
Yeah.
But also I have a career in like filmmaking and directing.
Mhm.
I do the Void's music videos. I do a lot of artwork with Julian, and like I work with the Stroke shooting like video stuff, and traveling and touring with them, and I've done a lot of crazy cool music videos for people over the years. So it goes hand in hand, visual and sound for me. I did like a fine art degree in experimental film, cinema, and sound design. So
Wow.
for me, everyone's like, "Oh, which do you prefer?" And I'm like, "Ah, it's the same thing for me. It's just a slightly different medium, but
Yeah.
visual is so important." And so, I know exactly what I want when I'm doing the thing. And with the live session, I I went to Pablo Cantu's studio, Codependiente.
Uh-huh.
Codependiente. So hard to say. It's one of the hardest Spanish words. And
Yeah,
he
yeah,
invited
that's
me
fine.
to his studio to talk about collaborating on some music, which we have been. And then I looked at the studio. I was like, this is amazing. We should record a live session in here.
Yeah.
And I was only going to do consultation from the album because I haven't played it live.
Mhm.
And then I was like, well, I have all these amazing musicians wanted to play in the session.
Yeah.
And then even Jay was like, I want to come and I'll play some guitar. And I was like, all right, well, we should do like, 4 songs, and we'll do a couple of the songs because Daniela lives in Mexico. Well, Masmora Briante. So we might have, and, I produced that stuff. And so I was like, oh, let's just make something fun out of it. So yeah.
Yeah. So, well, I'm listening you, and I'm like so in love with all these like different stages of your career. So, do you have? I know this is a hard question. So, I was wondering if you have a favorite like facet of your career. You know, like maybe producer, maybe songwriter, maybe musician, maybe in the visual area. I don't know.
It's so hard, man. I love it all, man. I wish I could do it all. It's exhausting because I love performance. And this year I toured a lot and I played a lot of shows in Mexico. And I just love that because I love how crazy the crowd gets, and the
Yeah.
energy just keeps me so buzzed. But then get back home and then I crash, and then I get like post tour depression. And then I'm like
Yeah.
super like down. And then I'm like, okay, what's going to make me feel better? And then I'll just be like, oh, I've got to record. And so I love that side. And then I'm recording. And then, for instance, like, and this is why touring is so important, because I've met so many amazing people that like, there's this band from Canada called Crack Cloud. Uh,
Okay.
and Crack Cloud, like, came to New York because Julian had them open a show. I was like, this band's really cool. And then now I'm collaborating with Emma Axe from Crack Cloud, and we have a song coming out at the end, 25th of September. But that wouldn't happen without the touring on the road part, And same with like I did a remix for Albert Hammond Jr. from The Strokes for one of his songs. But that wouldn't happen if I wasn't like on the road with those guys shooting all the
Of
time.
course.
And I got to do the stroke support in 2023
Okay.
all around Asia. And I was so fortunate that they gave me the opening slot. But
Okay.
you meet so many people and then you end up collaborating. So it just kind of keeps folding on top of each other. And so it's hard to say which one is more important because I think they all have significance.
Of course. Of course.
And same with the visuals. It all comes back.
Yeah, yeah. Have you? Sorry, I'm gonna change like a little bit the
Please,
conversation.
no,
But
no, you got to do your thing.
have you seen the latest Darren Aronofsky's picture caught stealing?
I haven't,
Okay.
but my friend Joe from Idols is the singer of Idols, did
Yeah.
the soundtrack, and
Okay.
they were just here in New York. Doing the like premiere,
Okay.
and then Joe, I, and Julian got to have like a couple of good beers at the end
Yeah.
of his trip because the Voids just did the Idols festival in Bristol.
Okay.
Idols did a block party.
Yeah.
Um, and so we went out because I was helping the Voids do all the visuals for their part of the concert. And then, yeah, Joe was mentioning that they did the whole soundtrack for Caught Stealing,
Wow. Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
amazing. And I haven't seen it yet because I've been so busy. But,
No, I was trying to talk about this with you because since the first like second I listened to your music, it remind me all the way to that same fast-paced kind of picture, which it's also is like reminding me of New York. So
Aha.
I was trying to well, I was wondering how much does New York exist in your music and in your work?
In New York, I've been here for over a decade, and
Yeah.
it's funny because one of the first songs that I ever, okay, so and it's with this fast-paced thing is that
Yeah.
the reason Julian signed me to Cult Records is I played a show in New York that I wasn't supposed to play. They just asked me if I wanted to play between bands, and I
Okay.
played "Take Down the House," and I
Okay.
hung off the balcony. And then the video, Julian had him in, but they sent the video of me playing "Take Down the House" to Julian. And then he wanted to meet me a week later. So we met at a bar called KGB Bar. And he
Okay.
walked in. He's like signed me without listening to the music,
Wow.
like
Okay.
just off the video.
Yeah.
But then that song was the first song I put out on Cult Records and ended up becoming one of the songs in Grand Theft Auto 5, which is funny
Okay.
because it's such a fast pace, like, and for the game, it has that kind
Yeah.
of like,
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
that crazy, like I'm gonna rob a bank. People are like
Exactly.
people comment online all the time like I love doing this mission or robbing this person while listening to Take Down the House. So that was the first song that
As
I ever
long
put
as
out.
it's a video game, it's okay.
Yeah, no, of
Yeah.
course, yeah, just
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
video. But that was so yeah, New York is in my music because that was the first song that came out here,
Yeah.
and that was I was just doing crazy shows here in New York, and some venues I got kicked out of, some venues love me. I broke a lot of crazy shit doing shows here.
That's a great answer. I didn't knew that story, but I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Mr. Promised Land, thank you for your time. Would you like to invite our Mexicans viewers to listen to all of your projects?
Yes.
Yeah.
México, mi número uno, mi corazón. Um, Te amo, te quiero. I can't wait to be back, and I'll have shows in Mexico soon. But I want to invite you to listen to Promised Land. You can find it cultrecords.com. My Instagram is Promised Land. You can check out the new live session with some amazing Mexican musicians live at Codependiente, which is on YouTube on the Promised Land YouTube. I don't know. I've never said subscribe and comment and follow, but you can if you want, or you don't have to. But I will be in your city soon playing shows.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm
I
excited.
hope so. I haven't got anything booked yet, but I will. I promise. And I'm going to
We
be
hope so.
in.
We hope so.
Yeah, but you're in Puebla, no?
Yeah, I'm in Puebla.
Yeah. Okay, Puebla. What's the best venue in Puebla?
I don't know. There are a lot, but probably it would be called like Auditorio GNP.
Aha. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
I'll see you there.
oh, I hope
And
we can see you there.
we will eat tortas. Oh,
Yeah.
what's your dish there? What's your favorite dish?
Semitas, which is really similar to the tortas.
Okay.
Yes.
Fermitas. Do you know what I love? It's my favorite. Is the
Yeah.
gorditas.
Oh, I
From
love
San
them
Luis
too.
Potosí. San Luis Potosí has those gorditas.
Yeah, I know them.
With the potato and egg.
Brother, you have a really good taste in food, in Mexican food.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your time. Thank you. Te queremos mucho desde México, and we hope to see you soon here.
Mucho gusto, mucho gusto.
Mucho
Gracias.
gusto. Muchas gracias, gente de iHeartRadio, por haber escuchado esta entrevista. De verdad, nos la pasamos increíble con Promised Land y yo los invito a que vayan a escuchar sus canciones, su música, de verdad está muy cool. Y pues bueno, nos seguiremos viendo en otras entrevistas aquí en iHeartRadio.